Okay. I think we're live. I'm hoping we're live. So let me quickly double check on one of our social media pieces. I think also we experienced a little bit of a delay last time. Let me see. Let's see if we're live. Okay. Can someone tell me if we're live or not? I just sent a message out. I think we are. Yeah? No?
Says live.
Does it? Does it say live?
Yeah.
Okay,
In your
great.
corner. It's blocking the barcode, but it says live.
Okay. Let's take a look and see if we're live on social media. Somehow. I think people get notifications. Yeah. Yes, we're live. Okay, great. Fantastic. Shalom alochon. Hi, everybody. We are doing this live on, I think we're on Facebook so far. I don't know if we're on YouTube as well. And let's see. Maybe LinkedIn and Instagram as well. I'm not sure. Let me just try to do one thing on Instagram. Let me do this on Instagram. Just one second. One moment. Public. Technology is great if we know what we're doing, if I know what I'm doing. Okay. LinkedIn is live as well. So let's hope that Instagram will be live too. But what we will do is we're going to start anyway on all these other platforms. So hi everybody, once again. I'm joined by my two great friends, Noor Mati and Faraz Jetu. We are here to discuss the water crisis in Ankawa, Erbil, in our homeland, ancestral homeland. سلام عليكم رابط ساخخ قد أمانيتون شروكتون أمان جدها لايف program أخون ماتي نور ماتي وفراز جتو أمينا قد هبدمخ أو دخاتنتا مقتا بود أهولتد أمتديان جو أنكاوا قد أديتلون أسقوتات مية تاما مية تمز. So my friends, we're going to be speaking two different languages. So we're going to go back and forth between Israeli Shane Shapira in these two beautiful languages. I'd like to first and foremost introduce Noor. Noor Mati is the co-founder of Shlama Foundation. Shlama has been really a fantastic organization, doing great projects, really answering the call of our people. I believe you started it after ISIS attacked, correct, Noor?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum Khonwati Khaswati. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Basimta Juliana for this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to our talk today.
Yes, thank you for being here. And Faraz Jetu, Faraz, I've known you for so many years and we've worked together on different projects. You are an advisor to Assyrian Studies Association, and you have been my contact on the ground on this particular project, and you have been extremely benevolent to not just to this project, but to Iraqi Christian Relief Council in the past. So we're very grateful that you are here because you're bearing witness yourself about the situation on the ground. So I'm honored to have you here again. Packet for us.
بس انت خاتن جوليانا تودي ساقي شو هاقا لقالي قد هاون اموخن يقاقا لقالي قد هاون اموخن. It's a pleasure to be here. It's great to see you again, Juliana and Noor. Both great people that have done so much for Assyrians and other communities in the Middle East. Pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. So let's talk about this really a very dangerous situation that our people are in terms of having shortage of water. When Noor, I have to tell you, when Firas contacted me a couple of months ago about the situation, I was not aware at all that we had this water crisis that has been ongoing for some time. And when we spoke offline, you told me that you had witnessed it starting 2008, 2009. Before we really delve into this deeply, I just want for our audience, I want to discuss with you briefly and give you some information on Ankawa. Ankawa, which is, I believe, a suburb, would you say a suburb of Erbil?
Yes.
A lot of people may think that it's a town. It is a very large town. At least there are 7,000 Assyrian, Chaldean, and Syriac brothers and sisters that live there. Erbil itself is a diverse community. There are Syrian refugees that live there. There are some Iranians that live there. Obviously, there are Kurds that live there. Assyrians, that's the ancestral Assyrian homeland. And in Ankawa, I must add that not just native Ankawa individuals that live there, but there are a lot of Assyrians that fled Nineveh Plain that took refuge in Ankawa in 2014, that they have tried to rebuild their lives in Ankawa, and now they're suffering continued of this massive shortage of water. Can you imagine waking up in the morning and turning the faucet on simply to brush your teeth and not be able to do that? Can you imagine wanting to make tea or coffee in the morning and you don't have access to clean water because there has not been water that has been fed through the pipes, or the family doesn't have enough funding to be able to purchase water? Not being able to bathe your child, your infant, your toddler. I can't imagine. I was telling Faraz last week, I personally have never had to suffer through a water shortage. I can't even wrap my mind around it. So I invite our audience today to really think about what that means. تخمنوا إن بقيامتون من شنتا ولا مصيتون باتوخن خلليتون لا بسبب لتنمية تمز. يعني أخذن قد بخايخ يو ما أروى بخايخ يو خيروتا بخايخ يو بريوتا إنا بنونا وبناتت سديان يو أطرد أباهاتن جنجورنا. Noor, please tell me the genesis of this issue and what is this all about? Please inform us.
Thank you again, Juliana. Well, I mean, if we first started saying, we were not aware of such kind of a problem, Juliana, if we had time, probably 24 hours would not be enough to tell you about every single problem that our people have from one village to another village. And just so you understand, and just so people can understand, when you see ICRC or when you see Shlama or when you see AS implement one project in Iraq, for every one project you see a success story, I promise you there are 20 other problems that are waiting for them. But we just don't have the capability to able to, address all the problems. So Ankawa has a big problem, and a lot of other villages and town of our peoples have continuously have all different kinds of problems, be it water, be it electricity, these basic necessities, and other forms of problems that could be solved if we just had money. So you asked, how or what led to this kind of suffering, and I kind of hinted a little bit when we talked about it here before on call. Unfortunately, big problems like this occur because the ruling authorities are not, for whatever reason, to be able to tackle such problems. So the problem continues to become bigger year after year. I moved back in Ankawa to 2008, and I remember at that time, talks started to happen, and starting to see that water was becoming an issue. And year after year, of course, since there are no addressing of the problem continues to get bigger and has gotten bigger, and now has gone bigger to the point where certain parts of Ankawa, like the rest of Erbil, go as much as 30 days or 50 days without a drop of water. So this is water that's supposed to go inside the pipes into people's homes for taking shower, for flushing the toilet, for, like you said, coffee, whatever, food, of course, food, when you're boiling, when you make the maraka, and garden, your small garden, and so on and so forth, for everything that you need water for. People are not able to get that anymore. So this problem continues to become bigger because we're not able to address it. The ruling authorities are not able to address it. This problem is so big, it's such an expensive problem. Like, I honestly, us at Shlama Foundation didn't think that we are capable of addressing something like this because it's something that at the level of a government, unfortunately. But I was blessed enough to have somebody amazing like Firas that was able to be the drive and saying, you know what, let's try to chip at it one at a time. And this is what we are currently doing. We're currently tackling one neighborhood, and hopefully to be successful with it with the phase one. And here we're talking about basically getting support to go on and do the next neighborhood of Ankawa.
And I'm very happy that you actually assumed this responsibility to do this, because otherwise I think most of us would not have known about this. And can you walk us through a day-to-day life of our people? How do they survive for days without this? And if you can talk about, on average, if you're comfortable with this question, based on their income, the average income, how much, if there's an opportunity to purchase water, how much does it cost? And what are the challenges with that?
Yeah. I'll speak a little bit, and I'll let also Firas talk more, since now he's also a fellow resident where
Yes.
he can also tell us more. So obviously this thing is very painful, because if you have money, you can somewhat try to address it, but how much can the average family continue to pay? And what happens is, you've seen these large water tanks. These large water tanks usually are just supposed to be used for agriculture. Now these large water tanks, private water tanks, are driving around neighborhood and selling water to anybody that wants to put water on top of their roof on the water tanks that they have that goes down to their house. So if you either buy water like this continuously, or you don't have water. And I'll give you just some few examples of the suffering, and then I'll let Firas. I know for a fact, for example, where people are not able to flush the toilet, so the toilet in their homes are not being used. And so and
Can you hold that thought for a moment? I must emphasize this. Did you just hear, my friends, did you just hear what Noor said? They're unable to flush the toilet. Can you imagine living like that for how long? A day, half a day, 2 days? This is not sanitary. This is a breeding ground for diseases. And talk about people's dignity. People, that's basic human rights, that they need to have this. And this is a humanitarian crisis that plagues not just the Assyrian people there, but other communities. But I just wanted our audience to understand what you just said. They're unable to flush.
and I'll even
ahead.
go more to give an example. It's sad that it's a 2024, and I know for a fact, I know people personally that, because they're not able to flush, the toilet or take a shower, they're being forced to ask people in another part of the area where they might have a little bit more water and go use, the bathroom or the toilet there. And it's just, this is not way of living in 2024. And this leads to many other problems. You mentioned the problems that you talked about, and I'll talk a little more about what other kind of problems it leads to a little later on, when we'll connect it to the bigger picture when it comes to our people's situation. Go ahead, Firas.
No, I think you summed it up well, Noor. But to answer your question in more kind of quantitatively, I've asked people what the type of money, those that can afford it. Again, this is those that can afford it. There are a lot of families that basically cannot afford it, and there are some aid agencies. There's the town itself that is helping them wherever they can. But typically, a home is spending somewhere between $40 to $100 a month to purchase water. That may not sound like a lot for someone living in the U.S. or in Europe, but keep in mind that's a major percentage of salary if you're getting paid. Some folks haven't been paid for months. Okay, so some families certainly, and this is not, we're not talking about. These are, teachers and doctors and lawyers, and some of them haven't been paid, and they have to resort to, buying water. Now, those that can afford it would get another big tank to put on top of their roof and spend $200 a month so they can fill it to have a little bit more water. They spent several $100s to get a tanker, and you see these giant tanks on top of their home in order to handle the problem. But one thing that's common across the whole spectrum of people, those that can afford and those that cannot, it's a daily struggle. They're thinking about it all the time. Whether you can afford it or not, still, you have to figure out the timing. When can you get the water? If it's, water's coming in at 3 a.m., you get up and start turning the... Every home has a pump, by the way. You see this pump right in the front of the house. It's normal. This is part of life. And they're utilizing it to pump the water into these tanks. So they're all constantly thinking about it. Where they choose to go eat, because they may have a bottle of water that they give them on the table. For other places where they might not give them water, because, that's one less bottle of water that you have to, manage for drinking and for others. So it's really a constant struggle. So you can imagine this is not an isolated village, far away. This is North Korea, if I'm wrong, about 10 minutes from the airport. It's basically engulfed by the city of Erbil, which is a large city. You have universities, you have private and public schools, you have clinics, everything. It's a whole functioning town that's thriving. On the surface, it looks like a thriving town, but when you look and see first of all, my first impression when I moved there is, what are all these tanks running around all over town, daytime and nighttime? Midnight, you'll see all these tankers going around, and they're delivering water. And some are profiting from this crisis at the backs of our people and those that have taken refuge in Ankawa. This is life there, and it's costing those that can afford it, again, to go back to your question, about 40 to 100 on average. Some pay more and have more supply of water.
So I'm going to pivot to say a few words in Assyrian, if you all don't mind. أخون ماتي أختون مروخون قد خيوتا تشاتوني لا أسقوتا رابلا رابا كلبتي لنا بيشو بورية ها قيلة البيشي وبدا باصروت تزويزة وباصروت دمية إن بس ما لخون جو خكمر sentences خكمة خبران مضي معاملات ديان بلشان ديانا اسقوتا اتاتنوتا كما مقتلو كما قيبندينوس اتنقدها مندي نور خرطة فراس بس مالو
يعني دخت ميرم صراحة يعني ناش عدبي كبيرة وكبيرة ورخاصة بس زي بمن سورة خنشة من ديانة خينة مودي براية ده يعني بعنكاوة على أساس دختت في راس ميرة إلى أحسن دكست من ناش الدين بعراق زين دخ أحسن دكست ناش الدين بعراق للتمايا تبي ثواسة إن أي إلى مثلا هوب الدين خموخ بغدادة خموخ عنكاوة إلى هوب الدين تمستقبل الناس الدين ما إلى مستقبل دين دا الناس تحمل لابو ودي بعد إيش يقو أسقوله فصراحة ما دكبارة إلى خامن دي خانك بدخل الموضوع عنكاوة ناشد عنكاوة سوراي ناشد دين ناشد دين ولا بكواشة هو لما بغزايا population loss commission للعنكاوة ف how is this beautiful the best place we continue had the cause of population decline وأي موضوع تد مشاكل مخد مايا إلى خمن سبب 18 كامل بشوقنا أري وبعض الخارج فهذا غلنا بعض الخمد يعني حتى ناشا هاوي مرتاح كو حياة الديوب عنكاوة يبقوا مرويا لونه بعنكاوة وحتى يبقوا خازي يومات بصوخ بعنكاوة ولا تخمني شوقي لا أرديدو فآخر الموضوع
بس ما خامدي مروخ رابعا غاية لسبب خامات إيتوت الديان لا أخشي يطر دعوات إيكد إيبخ رابعا قيتلا سبب أديا سامازود ديان بخايخ جوجالوتا سامازود ديان يخرخ من دعواتها وبغزاين عن نقايوتا كوديوم بزيادة لأن نقايوتا تحيرت الدين بنون وبنات الدين قد بيشنا يو أطرا وباي بيشي يو أطرا إن إتلون خاخيوتا رهض جرق أختن كالخ منه جرق سندخ بكل خا أرخا غزيمون الله سادة لأديا مية دريتن وغاقاني باي ما خدشتين واسا بصيتن نخبلي على سادة لنخبلي بستيكن مرمان شتين مية من اللي بيلاتي لا وقادة أها لايف أخنا دخبادو بني أمتن مغبق وقالوتا يعني إيكت إيتون بس مالوخون عادية دانا لقد آتاخ الأويدا لخيدخ من أويدا لقد أودخ خير ترابا أن غيتا قد ذني بنونو بنات الدين قد خيوتا راحت خجنا بس راحت قرشي جو أنكاوا أنا دوزي ترابا بشامن قد لندي تابو داها مدي بوش جلدوتا أنا ترير خمقة مادي بداها ديتن وبداين سامازودت بني أمتن لنا بدا وبداين خاطر جمين قد آدية أها لايف بغزايونا وبداين ونخاني خبرة دول براسة بالملتن بداين ملت دين بقيمي بغيروتا وبتحيري قابنونا بناتن أنكاوا فراس باقت آتن منياتهم
لا هم يعني نبين يونا خن خا صلمنتا خا إيمج خا شكل داخلة خيوتا لخا زهمتي لا شيت لي خاورخن بياية مجد ريشيت داخلة لا خمشي يومان خمن دي أمرنا خن همزوم تيوخا جوخا مخ بيت مكلة ريستورانت همزوم خباس آملوها ناشة تيوخا جو تيبل جيبن باطورة الجيبن مرو أخونا أخني أن 50 يومانة خشبونه 50 يومانة 100 لتلن جوبيتها يعني شميالي من ناشة تلين وهمزو منه 500 أن ورقو ملوءة نبيتون يعطيتون داخلة رابع هالسناي ايكتون بخايا جو سان دييغو جو ديترويت جو سان هوزي جو شيكاغو خوشون مين واتر لاين ديوخون دورو نقا خيوما وخيمون دخاني بخانة قطرة just to give you a feel قد هاوي لغنا رياشتا لا 5 يومانة خيوما خارتا قاريتون أمريتون داخل أهوالته أنا شكيرة على بخانجو خدوكتا ودر من أنكاوا إلى أمرخ gated community إتلومية جاني وكود من دي هلا يأتي قطلا يومانة وبامب مبلغ قد مالي لتانكر بلاطم قد درت 100 لتمية خاك ما يبرخشن شاور ليت شاور أنا إيوان جو خا privileged دكتا أوكي خاك ما ضاناتها هاوي قر طلطن إن إلى صائشتا بيوما قد مالنا 100 قد هاو يعني أبقى لي إلى خدشور وأنا privilege صلمن أنا ناشخينة ودلتهم صيتا أخمرة من قرطة جوليانا إتلي 100 أبانا بدوزو تهارو دي ودولا بورلت 100 دلخي لبينو شاتنو نخبلي شاتنو هذا يا نخبلي شاتنو ولا أبانا اوكي وخني تيوا 5 مخ او دخله او من ديان لا اخنواتي بضاين ما بين خمدي رابا غوريله رابا اوديشس رابا امبيشس أن من ديانة حكمة او ديلو لينة ناشا او ديلو اوكي اخشي انتخمنيتون الزوزة مفلوخو اخني المنديانة يومائيت يعني الخكمة كثرة وانا بيناتن اتلتلو هيش منايت مليون اللويرز بخشينا اي الى خنزبة رابو بوش باصورتا او كترة شاري قشنة وشنة بتشاري همزمت صورتا ميقرا نور وجوليانا وخينا هم زملو موضالة خابيرة قموديلة ليلة بريقة اما باما اخشي مطيلو level قد مثال 103 phase 1 دولا بشقالة شوبا إيش هو شاطة إيش progress بخام زمتا صورتا ليش رابا رقا ليش أمرخ بيلن إما خينة خامن دي يعني ليش بيا شرابة حيرتوخن إلى هدية بيتو مخزيتون قد بيتو نقب نيوم توخن بيتو مخزيتون قد كلني وخامتا أو إلى أرخت واتو أوكي صدورنا 100 خيمة وخارت دخمنا إلى 50 معنا مؤديتون وهر أيضا تخورن إن بيتنا عايزين زونيتون 100 تعملت لهم صيتا زوني 100 كل يوم لتلو أم صيتا أوكي
أبد باسيمة فراس رابا تربن توخن خبرانوخن رابا عموقة وهمون مرشان خبران وقبنا أمتن. Friends, we're going to, I'm going to invite you to, if you are moved with these words, with this coverage, we need you. We need you today. Your Eastern brothers and sisters need you. Your Assyrian, Chaldean, Syriac brothers and sisters. Your Christian brothers and sisters need you in Ankawa, Erbil area. So there are a few ways you can rise to the occasion. You can, there is a QR code. You can simply take your phone, turn the camera on, go ahead and click that. When it comes up, the website, the Iraqi Christian Relief Council's website comes up. You can donate anything. Every single dollar makes a difference. We so far have raised $13,000. And honestly, when I started, when I heard the call from both Faraz and Noor, I said, okay, we're going to raise, 15,000. Hopefully we can get through with this. We don't need that much. We only need about 150,000 to alleviate some, not entirely, nor you'll talk about it more in depth, but we'll give some relief to these people. We need much more than $15,000. Help us cross 15,000 now that we're at 13,000. Help us get to 20 to 25,000. You also can go to my personal Instagram. I don't think we're live on Instagram here, unfortunately. Since yesterday, we've been having issues with going live on Instagram, unfortunately. But we're trying to raise 5,000 on Instagram itself. If you go to Dame Juliana 2012, there you can donate, or simply go to IraqiChristianRelief.org, IraqiChristianRelief.org. Every single dollar makes a difference to this project and to any project that IraqiChristianRelief.org works on. There, if you're an international donor, you can donate on PayPal. If you're a domestic donor in the United States, you can still use PayPal or use other avenues that we have on IraqiChristianRelief.org. Again, there's a QR code there as well. We said this in Assyrian, but I think it's worth mentioning here. Faraz has a bottle of water with him. It so happens. And before we went live, I said, you guys, let me go get some water because I tend to get thirsty quickly. And just about 5-7 minutes ago, I wanted to reach for my water and drink. I became embarrassed. I was bashful. I couldn't drink water. As we're talking, I felt guilty as we're talking about the shortage of water for our people in the East. It's just heartbreaking. Why do you think, to either of you, Nora, I'll go with you first, and for us, you next. Why do you think this has not been covered exponentially in the Assyrian community or in other channels? Because I understand, please, I have to say this. I understand the water crisis has plagued the entire country of Iraq. I understand it, and my heart bleeds for the war-torn country of Iraq, my ancestral homeland, even though I was born in Iran. But why do you think, at least in our community, Noor, why haven't we heard about this much?
Well, I mean, first of all, in our communities, like in Iraq, this problem is very well known, and it actually does have lots of media highlight. Even media outlets that are connected to the ruling authorities are actually posting articles and videos about the problem because it's just so grand. All you have to do is go to Google and just type Erbil water or Erbil water wells, and you will see the number of articles that's been written about it. The issue has not reached maybe diaspora for a number of reasons. One could be because the connector of the diaspora to the homeland, we mostly rely on the NGOs, right? ICRC, Shlama, AS, they look at pages to see what's going on, what's the problem, and what's being done. And the problem of water in Erbil, and in specific in Ankawa, has never been addressed by any of the organizations because it's just so big, it's so grand. So when nobody's tackling it, you don't hear about it. And so that is the reason I feel like why it has not reached the diaspora. For example, the Syrian diaspora does know about the problems that we have with Assyrian schools, right? You all know, for example, you've seen them, you've heard about how they don't receive salary, some of the teachers. Why? Because
Yes.
some organizations like AS or others have tried to tackle the problem. Nobody has tried to tackle the problem of Ankawa water because it's just so big. It's such a big problem. But while it's really a sad conversation that we're having today, I'm also feeling a little bit of optimism and happiness because we've been we've been doing some amazing work, and it's part of this new coalition that different organizations are coming together in order to find a way to start addressing it. And now that we started addressing it, now you hear the Syrian diaspora to learn more about the problem.
Fantastic. That I'm very happy that, there was a Holocaust survivor, Cynthia Ojak, who said, amidst madness of despair, there's sanity of hope. And I love that you said that, Noor, because this is why we're here. We're here to give opportunity to get involved and to relieve the suffering. And there's good news in this. So thank you for saying that. For us, do you have any other personal stories that you can share? Can you humanize this issue? Because humans are suffering every single day, every single hour. Do you have any other stories to share? You shared it in Assyrian about the people that were sitting next table from you at a restaurant. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, أمرناكم قد إيتن
In
قويتاو خمدي
English,
رابط.
if you can
Oh,
do
in
it in
English. I'm
English,
sorry.
please. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
there are multiple kind of family clubs, I would call them, like the teachers club, the retirees club that Assyrians kind of congregate in and get together. And just in the past week that I've been there, I've noticed people leave with a bottle of water, the large bottle of water. So they ask for it. So you go there to eat, and you take, and they bring water. They take it with them. So, and I was wondering, that's not typical. People don't walk out with a big bottle of water. And I asked one of them, Nicholas, I said, what's going on? It's nearly midnight. He goes, I don't have water at home, so this will last me for tomorrow. So I'm just telling you that it's always on their mind, whether you see it or not. On the surface, if you visit, you may not realize it, but if you look deeper, you see this underlying problem. The issue here is, look, this is not something that's, it's not detrimental, like tomorrow people will be, harmed quickly. It's a slow death. It's a slow pushing out of their homeland. It's been going on for years, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And it's going to get substantially worse with all these mega housing projects that are being built. It's going to get worse. The demand will continue to go up unless we do something about it. So it's a feeling of helplessness. This problem is too big for us to solve. Feeling of despair. No one cares about us. So they kind of accept it, and they just do their best. And some of them at some point say, I've had enough, let's go. I have relatives in Australia or Sweden or in the US, let's just leave. And they leave slowly, and no one feels it because it's not happening en masse. It's, you don't see the, 20, 30 people in a hospital, due to a lack of water. They're not being starved out, they're being basically thirsted out slowly, so you don't feel it. This is the issue.
Wow. And it's about dignity. It's about dignity of people. And this is truly, I think it's a form of a trauma, I believe, that is going to continue staying with people in the future. We've seen that in other cases. And if there is something that we can do about it, we should do something about it. So let's talk, the first half an hour we spent on what the problem is, and now let's talk about the solution, Noor. So I understand that you began this project through a phased approach. Now we're in the middle or towards the end of the first phase, and the videos you have shared, hopefully next time, if we do a live, when we do another live, I'm going to figure out this whole platform, how to show some of the wonderful videos that you're sending the team. But through on our social media, I think your Shlama's social media as well, you are showing some of the progress that you're making. Can you tell us about the first phase? What does that mean? What are you guys doing with it?
Yeah, so, in America, in Europe, in Australia, the way water comes to the house is one centralized place for a city. So one large place sends water to the pipes for the whole city. One, maybe two. In the Middle East, it doesn't work like that because the vast majority of the water that goes into homes in Iraq, at least, is through the wells that are being dug in every part of the city or town. So, for example, this well serves a neighborhood, and then that well serves another neighborhood, and then they're all connected though through pipes. And while how the performance of one well is doing affects the other, and so on and so forth. So the problem with the water in Ankawa is the whole thing is the whole system, all the wells have problems, be it because the water has been depleted and now you need to dig deep more, or it could be because the motor, the submissive motor, is destroyed and needs to be, or, broken and needs to be replaced or fixed, or new updated of piping that leads to the rest of the homes, or other kind of problems. So you can't just fix it by just working in one place. You got to work in many different places. So when we looked into the problem, we realized that actually works to our advantage because the problem is so big, it's so expensive, we cannot fix all of it. But we can start chipping away and start helping one neighborhood at a time. So we've been working with the mayor of Ankawa and trying to dissect the problem and trying to get an initial assessment of how much each portion of the problem costs, like how much does it cost in this neighborhood and how much does it cost in that neighborhood. We found out that one of the places that we raised enough money with the first phase that matches a place where it has one of the bigger problem was, for example, the water well in 128. So the issue with that is we had to dig more and put new piping to go down to the new hole. And we were able to raise enough funds to 4 wonderful organizations and actually our brother Firas, who has personally also donated, to do this this water well that is in the area called 128. And this week, hopefully, we'll finish it, and we consider that as phase 1. And I just want to give a quick thank you to the 4 organizations that are partnering and helping with this. It's the Assyria Foundation of Netherlands, the Assyrian Without Borders, Assyrian Foundation of America, and the Assyrian Federation Union of Germany. So these 4 organizations and Firas Aziza, they're donating to the first phase, which is we're helping the water well of 128, and that's going to be about 10% of the problem be solved, and that's an accomplishment. I mean, this problem has been sitting like this for years, and we're coming in there to tackle it, and it's thanks to the diaspora, and we're 100% thankful. And how beautiful! You got organizations from 4 different countries coming together to help us with this first phase. What we are talking today about is because we were able to successfully channel and maneuver the complex situation of working with the authorities and making sure the approval is there and making sure we're able to do this work, because it's not easy. You can't just go work anywhere you want just because you have money, but we established a good relationship that has led to us to be able to help our people. And now that we're learning more about, like I've become an expert with water wells, and I can tell you about, what's the level 1 and level 2 in terms of when you dig. And so we're learning, we have to learn, because we're basically doing the work of a government. So,
Amazing.
And we're successful at phase 1. So now we're looking at, hey, let's go. Let's talk about helping other people, because it's funny. I shared you guys a link. When the local community is talking about the problem, when they're posting the project about the water well of 128, Islamic Foundation with its partners doing this, unfortunately, you'll see lots of people commenting, well, what about our area? Well, what about our area? How about us? And how about us? So we're already thinking about working at a different area, phase 2. And hopefully ICRC and others, if there's others out there wanting to join the coalition, will be able to fund and helping another portion, which we will call phase 2.
Yeah, ICRC has already pledged to you that we'll be involved with you in helping you during phase 2. For us, what are some of the reactions of the people who've been impacted by phase 1? What have you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of optimism, and from the people. I'll just give you a kind of an example. I believe it's this morning or yesterday morning, I got an image through WhatsApp, a video of the water coming out. So the first time the water came out, and it came from a fellow, his name is Yosef, and he sent it to me. I said, oh, this is from well 128? Yep. So, hey, do you mind if I post? He goes, oh, I didn't take that video. Someone sent it to me. He said, can you connect me to that person? So he connects me. I reach out to him. I say, hey, can I use this video? Oh, I didn't take it. This is within an hour of when the water came. I didn't take it. Someone sent it to me. I did this for about 5, 6 people, and everyone got it from someone else. And this is within an hour. So people were sending this video to each other. After a while, I gave up. So probably it went on for 30, 40 people. They're just sending it to each other because they're all excited about this. And these are folks I've never heard of. I didn't know them. So it just, the excitement, the sense of optimism that there's hope, that when people come together from different countries, from different denominations, they didn't care. They didn't, I assure you, those donors don't know, well 128, who lives there. Are they from the Chaldean Church or Nestorian or Church of the East or Syria? They don't care about anything. There are people, we got to help them. And to be honest, it will help not only Assyrians, it's going to help the people from Syria that have fled to Ankawa, Arabs, Kurds, others, Muslims, Christians. They're going to benefit from this as well. This is not, hey, this is Assyrian water. This is water for everyone. So those listeners that maybe are not Assyrian, they're saying, well, I have other causes around the world. This is your cause too. Okay, you're helping everyone here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's exciting. They're feeling that there's a sense of optimism and just they're excited to see this happen. And as we do others, the phase 2 that Noor spoke about, I think it's just going to give people hope that they can remain, not only survive, but thrive in this town. That's really a beautiful town. You can ask many within Iraq, from southern Iraq, from Basra to north. Ankawa has a great reputation for a thriving town that's doing well as part of Erbil, of course, but it's really a model town that we just need to help it on this one front.
We must. And Noor, tell us a little bit about phase 2, just briefly, please.
So yeah, I like I said, we don't have all the information because again, this is a very complicated thing. It depends on how much funds we raise in order, because when we look at the problem, there's right now about 15 different places or portions of the problem we can tackle with phase 2. We can only do one of the 15 because it's so expensive. So which one we'll do, it'll depend on how much we raise and where is the problem the greatest. So, but what we expect is either a continuation of what we did in phase 1, which is go to another neighborhood and completely fix the water well of that area. Or there could be another scenario of where we think the money would be better to use if we have to dig up these 50-year-old pipes that go through the streets of Ankawa, and one part of Ankawa, of course, not all, one part of Ankawa, that would be able to fix the water issue, where we would be able to replace them with high the quality, the latest technology of pipes that would be able to make Ankawa go into the future with having proper water in one part of the area. And there's also different ways. There's also different problems that we can also address with that. But again, phase approached, where I feel like every time, to give you an estimate, every time we're able to do something, you basically you can estimate that about 10% of the problem and 10% of the population of Ankawa is going to have its water problem resolved. And this is not a temporary resolve. This, we're doing it in a way where we're spending good money to make sure that it goes for decades, not for years. And we're excited about that.
So some people have approached me since last live and they said, is this the responsibility of small NGOs, or is this the responsibility of those in power and authority? Who wants to take up this question?
I'll say a little bit because I know Firaz also wants to talk, but I'll just say just a couple sentences. Obviously, basic services such as water and electricity are supposed to be provided by the government. We all well know what Iraq has gone through. And we also do know that Iraq is wealthy with oil money. But we have two choices. We can either start complaining or continue to complain about not getting our basic rights, such as water, electricity, or we roll up our sleeves and try to get it done. We've been complaining for many years, and we'll probably continue to complain. But complaining doesn't really solve anything. We can continue to protest and verbally ask for our basic rights, but we can also at the same time work and try to solve the problem ourselves. Why not fix something if we can? And we were able to. Look at this big success with 128. This is a big deal, helping something like that. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think we've had that anywhere in the city of Erbil or anywhere in Iraq. Somebody from the diaspora, the Arab community or the Kurdish community, you know what? Bam, here's money, go fix it. We're the first one. That's beautiful. Maybe it will lead to a revolution of, other communities getting the help that they need. So we can either complain or we can either try to do something about it.
To your point, those who are viewing us today, they can donate, they can get involved with this, they can literally bring dignity to the lives of those who have suffered, who continue to suffer on the ground in Ankawa. My friends, people who may have different diseases, they need water. Children, babies need water. And right now, it's hot in Iraq, and the sun beats on these homes in this country. It's a dusty land, no? I mean, you live there, Faraz, and Nora, you're from there. So all of this causes problems without if a family doesn't have water. And there's 7,000 families who are suffering right now, who are our own Assyrian Christians of Iraq. Some are ISIS survivors. So those of you who are watching, you can go to the QR code that is listed on the screen. Please go ahead and scan that. That will take you directly to our website. We're trying to raise, we were initially wanting to raise 15,000. We're hoping we will raise 20,000 for the second phase of this, to bring dignity and water to people, to relieve some of the suffering. Or you can go to our Instagram. Unfortunately, I don't think we're streaming on Instagram. We've been having issues with it on this platform. But on Instagram, you can easily go there and donate there. Or go to our website, IraqiChristianRelief.org. IraqiChristianRelief.org. Our partner on the ground is Shlama Foundation, with a great deal of transparency. They've done great work before. They do today, and they will continue in the future. I'm also wanting to talk about matching donors. If there are out there those donors that want to match 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, please contact me through the website or through my different platforms. You can reach me also. For us, I'm going to speak to you in Assyrian briefly for just a couple of minutes. قاموا عن القتلة قد أمتديا قام بواجبوت داها ترميتا أها project قاموا عن القتلة قد خم أخلي البنون ناتديا بسبب بغزايا خرابة منن يوما أروا إتلان نسيتا ربطة قد أمسى خيرخ وكالم من بنونا وبناتا إنا رابا جاهل أها واجبوتا ليلة بياشا مكملتا قاموا عن القتلة قد ناشدين شاري بدواخا قبنونا وبناتا قد بيشنا يواترا بريشايد قد أها project.
مدي قمايا أمتن ورتي لبرابا جنخة وبشتبر بستك كل الدنيا إدو يوما إيتوتن جو أطرت أوهاتن جو آطر جو بتنهرن إلى إتنخا question mark يتخبو قارة الله بتفيشخ ين لا بيشخ إدو يوما ماس خمرخ أنا ناشجك بيشي قمونا بلاطة أمريخ توخن بطلوخن قمو أخني لي بلطخ لتلن هاقوتات أمرخلو قموتن بلاطة أخشي إتلن واجبوتات خيرخلو قد خيوتي خويا سباي قد إن ماسي بيشي تاما إن بيتن هاويلن خايتوتا قوبت نهرن أنا إسريشنا خرايا أطشي بإما بلطلو من أطرا يقرنوا رويدا و statistics خشبنوا لكل مطواته كل مديناته أطشي بإما بليطانا أنا بيشاننا قرك أودخ متماسخ قد هاويلو خيوتا قد ماسي خيي بإقارة مخبرناشا درغة قمايا اوكي من دي قمايا من يترى إلى أيام ديتا من خجيبة أنا خشون خمندي على هايل مخامرة من خمينو صاحو خمندي على هايل قمو إلى خمندي godly ألاها قم يقولن خمديتا إلى قربة أربل طاش إيطاناتا ناشديا من كل إيطاتا من كل جبانة تامنا قربة للإيربورت قربة بالطوسة قربة بالصوبة يونيفرسيتيز قربة مدرسياتا كود من دي إتلنجاو إن هاويلا خلما مد داخي هو يمديتا قد ماسخ بيشة قد هاويلا إيتوتا إلى عنكاوة دي يوما وإلى بتختا إتلن خكما متواتا إن أخشي خا أشيرت خا إيتا من خا أوجخ إيبا أوكي أي إلى بتختا في خانة طرانة وخباء ولباء من ويلة أي داعش من ورو قدشت ننوى أن بوش خيرانا إن الناشط عنكاوة أوكي ويتا لخمديتا إلى أمريكا our last stand إلى تاما إن تاما لماس خيرخ لا أمزمخ آطور وبتنهرين وكلدو تاما لا بايتون هيريتون أي لا هيرتا لخيلا وخمندي إلى رابا يعني لخ بطلابة قد أودخ artwork ين متخ statue ين أودخ بصمنخ كتاوة خمندي fundamental ناشا ليبا اتناشا ليلة ليبا الناشا مصيانة ليلة مصيانة بيلو مية fundamental قخيوتا مية إلى أنقيتا قخيوتا وإديو بني أمتن تاما اتلو اسنقوتا هلبات اتلو أو إيقارة واتلو أو شهارة تلاقاتي طلبي هاوي جواية أمريك بطلابا من حكمة لما صمرنا حكمة ليلة هيورا حكمة اتلا بادجت وهيورا لا وكل أطرا سنيقة لمية أمري اتلن priorities اتلن حكمة بوش سنيقوتا اتلو هيرخلو من منطقة عنكاو حالوخن حالت ناشخينة أخني لا ليه بايخ حالن هوي ما حالت ناشخينة قويرك بايخ حالن هوي بصباي حالي هوي مخد ديترويت مخد شيكاغو مخد لوس أنجلوس من أتيقى 100 أديان بيتون هاويلان هيوتوتا بيدوخني لا برس راشن ان آتخ أمرخ بياشا ترمجناتا قو عنكاوا أو إلى من أن سبابة رشمايت أو من ديوايل ليخ براشا بيو نيخا بلاطنا سب خيوتا ليلا صماي خاب جيخ مرقالي يطيت مو مرقالي مرة بش قالن وفيزا قا تركيا مرة مالت لخا مت تشيك مارك بزنس بليجر مرة متيلي خا كادر رخيتا بين خافن ليلة بزنس ليلة بليجر قد خافن jokingly ميرالا بجيخكا أخشي إلى هلقت أربوة هلقت جوك إلى شرارة أي لخيوتا ديو من هذا إلى أنا قاتا بني أمتي قد هاي رخل أول من دي fundamental 100 قبني أمتا قد هاويلو خيوتا ما خيوتا أنا لين بصاي منه أختوخن ليتن بصاي منه
Faraz Ahmedid Meruch, I'm going to ask you to repeat it in English. It was just gut-wrenching. Can you repeat what this example that you brought in your language into English?
Yeah, no, it was in passing. One was jokingly saying that he went to get a visa to go to Turkey to visit, and on the visa, it's a business visa, it's a tourist visa. He put another one. He said, "A shower pizza. I just want a visa. I just want to go to take a shower." Okay, I mean, he was saying it jokingly, but it's because of what they're going through. Okay, this is what I mean. It's always on their mind. Okay, and we have an opportunity here, to be honest, with very reasonable funding to allow them to have something so fundamental as water for, as Noor said, for decades, not even years.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're not asking for millions of dollars. We're just asking for a few thousands of dollars. And we have affluent individuals. We have great organizations that have risen to other occasions before. And this call is to all of us together collectively to answer this call and help relieve the suffering. You know, I mentioned others have risen to the occasion. Our organization, Iraqi Christian Relief Council, has been funded by great, generous Americans, Canadians, Europeans, Assyrians who have lived in the diaspora and have lived here in the US. They have risen to the occasion of ISIS. We were formed when Al-Qaeda was still raging in 2007. They rose to the occasion. They answered a call in 2007. They answered a call in 2014. When the earthquake happened in 2003, when the fire erupted in 2023 last year, we have a giving donor base. We have seen the benevolence of the Assyrian, Chaldean, Syriac diaspora. We all have, all of our organizations have, nor you have seen it as well. So this is yet another call to all the good people of those who are watching this. Please don't keep this to yourselves. Please spread the word. We really, really need you. These people really need you. Faraz, go ahead.
باين خمخشختي وانا هديتك مني باسو بدزوتا قبني امتا همونا شبت البتاية ان بغلاطة الى ايد صليوة خمندي رابا شابيرا وايلا جو انكاوا قد كله ان امرت ريشانوتت ايتكلديتا ايتسرن كاثوليك سرن اورثودوكس ايتمدن خوادو نمو ضالة يوم قمايا جو ايتمدنخا يوم تري جو ايتكلديتا ايتسرن كاثوليك سرن اورثودوكس وطلب منوخن ازيتون ايتاتوخن ات اينا جو اطرا ين اينا جو قالوتا امرتن قايد صليوة اي من خضريتو نقا قد كسبة قد يوقع أمرا قد حيرتقى أمرا خاخي تمر خطيلة قد منطيمية قبل يوم توخن خاخي تمر خط ناخد خش رابي قاشة أمر مرخطخ لخاخي تأيي جاي أن زوزة آزي قبل يوم توخن قوين كاوا إن كد إيتا أو دالة أو من دي أي بروبلم بشتا شوريتا ليهم زمخينة رقلة طلبيتن من إيتا توخن إيكد إيتن جو أريزونا ديترويت شيكاغو سانوزي تيرلوك مودستو سيدني ايكت هويا خم مرحبا خيتين هيش من لياتي اخشي همونا انا اتلي هيوي بني امتن هيري قوة من دي اني مضيلة قالي
هي انا زيت لي همانوتا برخمة ملت ديان رخمنتلا ملت ديان بايا هيرا غاخن واتو قد فاتو قدينا جانجوري وآم مخشختت مخشخة الرابة شابرتا مخشختة وهمون قد بتقويا خا إن خبرانوخ بد مارشري غناشت إيتا وغناش خين قد مغوبنا أسقوتا بر ختميلة. My friends, body of Assyria is suffering. According to St. Paul, in terms of Christianity, when one part suffers, the rest must suffer with it. This is a call to the Christians, and this is a call to Muslims. This is a call to the Jews and others who don't have the heart to see this suffering. So in order for us to eliminate it, we have to come together to do it together. You can visit IraqiChristianRelief.org, IraqiChristianRelief.org to give whatever you can to make financial sacrifices. Those are who are prayer warriors. Those of you who pray, I ask you to do so. Put this cause, put this project, put this heartbreak on your prayer list. Ask for your friends and family members to prayerfully give to eliminate the suffering. Again, we're not asking for millions of dollars. When Faraz, you brought this issue up to me some time ago, 2 months ago, I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to say this is going to cost $3, $4, $5 million. And you said we're looking for approximately 150,000. And this is not just a Band-Aid. You nor and the employees that are working on this.
Sorry, 1 second. No, I just have to correct it. We have no employees. There's no such thing as
not
employees.
You, but the people that work, the people that do the work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who I mean. You guys are working really hard and you're doing substantial work. I mean, the videos that we've seen, you have these massive machinery that is digging wells, that are putting pipes in. This is something that is addressing a long-term need. So with this small amount of money, we can do great things. And this is why I'm asking all of you to open your hearts and prayerfully give to this very important cause. We have just a couple of more minutes, I think, about 2-3 minutes. Noor, if you don't mind, state your final thoughts about this in both languages, because it really is a calling to non-Assyrians and also to the Assyrian people of all churches,
أول من ديك بنمر نشكرنا وخنطرن توخن لأنه مع الأسف لا كل الناس جهامي كو مرايوث ناس الديم خارج جو أثر الديم بخلطة فشكرنا خنختوخن وشكر كل خير الناس سعيدة هنا يعني احنا كيدو كل شولانة ICRC والتلقوا عراق وكيدو شولانة خرتقن مؤسسات تخانة ودنا بعراق وكلنا شدك فرجي فيديو متأكدين كل مني ويلا نزوزة تا أن كل شولانة فأنا يوم خامن ناشد عراق من شكر نوخة من كل اللي بدي بس دخلت شولة أمثى أبد لك خالص شولة دينز لك خالص لأنه أخن أمثى أوكي اتن أمثى وسنقت دائما دبرخ لأي أمثى أي إلى لايف لونج من دي وأخنا هرزي جربه ما قد يوغ آخر أثأر جربه أودخ ما قد إيبن حتى أثر ديا إلى بشتو من إيوة قميثة. And I just, want to say one thing about the projects that we're doing. Funny thing is, I looked up and I wanted to see how much is a project like we're doing right now with Phase 1. Phase 1 it's going to cost approximately about $30,000. Again, we don't have any employees. Shama Foundation, we're all volunteers, but we look for people who, of course, are expert at this thing to bring them with their machinery, like you said, in order to do the work. It's about $30,000 to do Phase 1. And I looked up the exact kind of work, the exact kind of well. How much does it cost to build it in America? And I looked up online and it said $135,000. So one good thing about Iraq is it's still cheap relatively for most things. Such a big, huge work we're doing, it would cost 5-6 times more if it was abroad. So let's take advantage of this thing. The dabore of our nation, the taking care of our nation, is really not that costly. And this next phase is going to cost approximately the same thing. About, we're looking at about $25,000-$30,000, again, depending on lots of negotiations and continuous survey and site assessments of the areas. It's not a lot of money, like you said, where we can continue to chip away at the problem and continue to help as many of our people as possible. Again, this is all numbers in the end. The more we help our people, the better it is in the future. The bigger population our nation will be in the future.
I said there are approximately 7,000 families that are suffering. When we give a number,
yes,
it's just...
and Phase 1 will help about 750 to 800 families, and we're looking at the next area to help more people to address the problem.
So you say 700 families. If you multiply it on average by 5, that's 3,500 people. Am I correct?
Yep. So we're helping 3,500 people with Phase 1.
Exactly.
Ankawa has a population of about 30,000 people. So we're helping 3,500 of about 30,000, so approximately 10%. And we're hopefully to replicate it again in another place with Phase 2 with our friends at ICRC.
Absolutely. You have our pledge. And we throw around these numbers, but there is a human being, a human face behind each number. And we are commanded to love the other. We're commanded to love one another. And this is the opportunity for you to rise to the occasion, like you have done in the past repeatedly. And I, on behalf of myself, my board of directors and advisors, I'm forever grateful to our donor base and to those who have given in the past. But yet again, we come to you with this urgent request, with this urgent humanitarian message that people are suffering. And this is something that can be solved easily with not a lot of money. For us, please, your final word in both languages.
No, خاكيتا تودي ساجل كليخو تغيروخن أو مندي يبن ساجيوثة هاي أدرانة هي لمن ناشدين جو يوروب ومن سان فرانسيسكو اللي هي مدينة خينة أوباني بتخيري و يعطيتن خكمة دكانة ويلا خدش أسقوطة قد يويلا قشلامة فاونديشن ينقن ICRC قطوسة جو جرماني خيالة صليبة شدرة مرة لدي اللي دخ شدرنا خدش أسقوطة هيرا بأرخد save our souls شو تاسخينا مشخلة local قد خير أخشي إيوة through ICRC's promotion of this يعني آمن دي موت أرخة إنيتون جو أستراليا وخدش زهمت إلى قد شدرين قشلامة ينقى ICRC مشخن خشو تاسة تاما ينب أرخت إيطاتوخون ين شو تاسوخون وأني شضري لقا شلامين مخبوق شضرنا إيميل شضرنا قنور جوليانا مشخيلوخون أرخا أولا هاوي سبب قد لا هايريتون إن بيتون هايريتون هايرخ لوخن بأرخا قد ماطي النزوزة هيش خلالة وادا من نوليت administration fees لطن أينا كل برخشلة قاشولا لا أخشي برخشلة يقرأ نور he's negotiating من هذا خلال مرة برايس سبب وادا negotiate مني قد مصلي لك ما تماصي قد بزود أعود شغلة منه يعني هاو بسيمة خا شغلة قبارة وادلة وباون هاوي بسيمة قد شغلة وادلة وبناشد دينا تهيورنا لما شيء لما صيتون مشخخ لخن أرخا شدرون إيميل okay and WhatsApp مت إلى Facebook we'll find a way قالوا. For those that don't speak Assyrian, if you're in a country or in an area where it's difficult for you to donate through ICRC or Shlama Foundation, just send us an email or a text, WhatsApp, whatever means you have to one of these two great organizations, and they'll find a way through their contacts, globally. This is a solvable problem, and with your help, it can be done. Within a few weeks, God willing.
God willing. Thank you. And I must say, I'm in the presence of two great men who, despite their opportunity for that which they had to live in the greatness of the United States, in this great country that has given everything to us, but they chose to go back, to return to their homeland, to our homeland, and to help rebuild it, to be one with the people on the ground. And for us, you said you understand the suffering because some of it you're exposed to yourself, although much, much lighter, but you're still faced with it. So I'm honored to be in your presence. Avitun Raba Basima Bishan Isuira is a Tanyan Nahar Papa. أنا لختفتن بالتريا خنماتي قد أبند إتفعلون إبرست قد بيشي جو أمريكا خي جو أمريكا جو ربيخوت دا جو بريوت دا أطرا إنا إقطة شغلالون درون الأطر دا بتخاء في من تدين تاما وهيري باني لا أطرا تاما سو أنا ريشو مكيوبن قد تربن توخون تلي رابا يغارا قد تربن توخون. My friends, you see the QR code there. Please go ahead and use your phone with your camera. You can click that. That's going to take you to the Iraqi Christian Relief website. The website is IraqiChristianRelief.org, IraqiChristianRelief.org. You can donate there. If you're international, you're able to donate through PayPal. If you're domestic here in the United States, you can still donate through PayPal, but also through other avenues that we have on the page. Also, if you prefer, please spread the word on Instagram because we're trying to raise $5,000 on Instagram. That's under my personal Instagram, Dame, D-A-M-E, Juliana, with one N, 12, or also the Iraqi Christian Relief Council's Instagram as well. Thank you both so very much. Thank you all those of you on a Sunday stayed with us within this last hour, just over an hour. Hopefully, maybe we'll try this again in a couple of weeks or maybe next week is the weekend holiday here in the US. So nobody's going to be, hopefully on social media, they'll be with you. You'll all be with your families. But maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll do another live as an update. And Noor, you have the pledge of ICRC and all of our board of directors and advisors are grateful for the work that you're doing on the ground. Thank you, everybody. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Tawdi.
Basim.